Brock Lesnar is not facing Gunther. Like, that story that was put out was rubbish, like a load of WrestleMania stories. He's facing Bobby Lashley for part 3. That's been the plan the whole time. Nothing changed. He's back on Monday. He's, from what I understand, he'll cost him the US title and they'll have a run in at the Rumble. So, and going into this program, when it resumes, Lesnar did really well merchandise wise as a babyface. So they'll keep him that way. Lashley will be the heel with the heel group for people for Brock Lesnar to go through on route to WrestleMania to freshen up the story.
Well, so, me and Konnan talked about this, and I'm wondering about this because I guess I guess they're getting the Hurt Business back together. It looks like. Okay, I don't know if they're doing that officially, but me and Konnan were thinking if the Usos drop the Raw belts Monday to the Judgment Day, that it would set up. You would think the Hurt Business's baby faces set up against the Judgment Day. It's kind of like a feud on that show. Did anything to that? You think?
I don't know if the Usos are dropping those belts on Monday.
Well, they're not then, man. I was saying if they do. I don't know. I was just speculating. Me and Konnan were like booking out loud, like when we were doing the reviews of the show.
It's very strange, like just the way it's been done, because again, Triple H gets a load of credit and whatnot, but there's no explanation. Suddenly, it's like the Raw tag team titles. They just did it. They just started announcing them differently. Every defense has been for the unified,
right? And
now they split the belts off. I mean, they could have done that any time with Roman, and perhaps they'll announce that with that precedent set that Roman now has to start doing that after the Royal Rumble, and maybe it starts at WrestleMania or whatnot, and he loses one belt and keeps one belt. But yeah, I think it's interesting they're doing that. I'm just not sure that Dominic and Priest will be the ones that get them. It seems very quick that they're pulling the trigger on that. But
Dominic is one of the most entertaining acts of WWE right now.
Yeah,
that whole thing, the hardened criminal stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's great. That's great heel stuff, Yeah,
I don't know if Konnan sent him that shirt.
Let me ask you a question. So, do you even know if Vince is going to be hands off in creative and he's going to let Hunter do it, or is he going to be back in creative, or you don't know?
Yeah, he has to. He already speaks to Hunter now. Like he's already involved, but not actually having any influence on anything lower down. But I think in terms of where the main events go for WrestleMania and what ends up being night 1, night 2, all that's still going to be Vince. I always knew that anyway. Like, it was the thing is with the whole deal with The Rock and what he gets to do on television and how the finish is done for that match if it happens, and whatever his involvement is, and how the XFL is plugged on television and whatnot. That was all agreed through Vince. So that was always going to be an issue. And as I said, Vince is coming back to sell the company. Nick Khan was there to sell the company. They need a huge WrestleMania. They need a huge WrestleMania to elevate this stock price past $85. Which is the sell point, and it always has been. So, I mean, that's if you want to start a bidding war between your. Look, there's two ways to look at it. If they really care about everything that they've done historically, and Vince McMahon really loves WWE and he wants it to have a legacy and he wants it to live on, then he wants it to go to an American business. He wants it to go to CNBC or somebody like that. If it's a case of like getting as much money as you can and making sure there's no lawsuit against you, then it'll go to the Saudis, and then the Saudis, and then you run the risk of losing the streaming bidding war that they're going to be in, which is going to be the biggest deal ever. Maybe Monday Night Raw doesn't go up, but I don't think any of that's going to happen. Like, as I explained before, Live Golf is Live Golf because the players spoke out against it and put themselves in a position where Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, who are the two biggest golfers, said that we think that it's appalling, and everybody that plays it is more interested in money than golf. Like, that was the problem that Live Golf had. The WWE wrestlers are not going to turn around and say that. So,
right,
yeah, it's much easier to get a TV deal.
So let me get a little heat with Joe more than I usually do. Joe's not on the show today because he thinks you're long-winded. So he actually sends me this question.
That's not why he's on the show.
I know, but I like to get heat with him.
Right. Go ahead. Yeah, Joe wants to know. Joe thinks The Rock is going to show up on Monday Night Raw, and me and Konnan are like, no, The Rock is a huge draw. They're going to advertise The Rock if they bring him on the show. So, what do you think?
I think for what I heard, there's pitches that don't involve Rock. So if you had him, then the pitches would be like what we're doing with The Rock. So
well, if you had him, you'd advertise him.
No,
there's no way you'd put him out there as a surprise. Bro, he drew the SmackDown that he was on the week that AEW started. They were doing like 2.2 million viewers. They did 3.7 million that week with The Rock on.
The one Cena was on not too long ago.
Did the best
numbers in 2 years.
Did like 200,000 more, but it wasn't like The Rock. The Rock drew like a million more viewers.
Still, Cena had that's something. Your best rating in 2 years, that's something. Imagine The Rock.
All right. We'll see. Well, I mean, it's a speculation, so we don't.
I think off the back of the other people they've promoted, they are expecting a pop anyway, and then you can have that, that bounce through social media, which is there now. It doesn't have to be like it was during the Monday Night War, where you had to pick up the phone or text somebody. Like even people with no friends. I won't say anything, but the mate will find out. Through Twitter and other means
my theory and me and Disco kind of agreed on this is, bro, because we actually came up with a couple good ideas, and I'm sure they've written the bloodline so well that they're not going to fuck it up. But you don't need The Rock. The fact that the dad is going to be there and the uncle,
The story that I heard is that he'll force his mum to acknowledge him.
Oh, that's great.
That's one of the pitches that's going at the moment. So that's what they're thinking about doing.
Yeah, and the dad can say,
I don't want any more spoilers if that's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking for.
I really want to see this because they've done a great job with them.
What So that's it for wrestling this week.
That's it for wrestling this week. I don't want to say too much because of lock betting. Obviously, I'm trying to get people to go over there. But I'll talk about the women's rumble. At the moment, it's between two people that will likely they're going to challenge at Mania, and they always do this. They have the people lined up that they want to challenge. They're just trying to pick between Becky and Rhea for this for the Rumble.
Well, if you want to get more information on this stuff, go to lockbetting.com. Correct.
And the dirty sheets too.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything you want to, anything you can bet on, anything that has a monetary gain. I prefer to keep it behind my paywall, but it's between two girls, and once I know, you'll know, and you can bet that. So,
cool.
All right. So check that out at lockbetting.com, and I want to thank you for being with us, Billy, with the hot news from London town. Boom. Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!